Oh, no, wrong place. Okay. Have a round two of. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah. I have a round two of the extract code engine functions that I wanted to really quickly talk through. Let's see. Okay. So we have a couple more modules that we're importing. I'll talk about those as we encounter them. Yes, we still are using token auth. Yes, we are using search code engine to retrieve a list of Domo versions. And I was in a rush last time we went through this, so let me really quickly print Domo versions. Let's take a look at that one more time. So a Domo version is pretty much the package, but it's the current version of that package. So if I look at, I'm going to grab one at random, let's say 5, and let's pretty print this. Okay. So what information comes with a Domo version? It's the package ID, the language the package was written in, and the functions that my scripting found within the entire code base. And I do also attach the code. It's just not visible here. We don't really need to scroll through all that. Okay, so that's Domo versions. Each version also comes with a list of functions, like I just said. And so in this example here, this code engine function, looks like it interacts with the sandbox code repository, and I can see here this is the function for how I create a commit repository or call the commit repository library in CodeEngine or workflows. Okay. Anything else interesting here? I mean, it's got inputs. What inputs does it take? It takes a repository ID as an input. Okay. So that kind of information, for example, what URL are we hitting and what kind of method we're using to send the request, might be of interest to us. And so I did try to write, we're going to ignore that for now. I did try to write a series of regex expressions that would parse your JavaScript and extract the stuff we're interested in. So the first question I'm actually interested in is the function looking at or sending an actual API request? Because some functions don't. For example, if I had a function like, I don't know, restructure JSON into a CSV, right? There's no API request. And so for my purposes, it's not interesting. So I'll just return a binary true or false if we're hitting an API. And this is actually a very simple, it's not even regex, but it's a very simple string test to see if the text URL space hyphen is in the code. Extract URL uses a slightly more intense regex expression. So in this case, that's a regex expression for looking for the URL shaped that way. And we can also look at it to see if there's a new line coming at the end. Okay. Just so you guys know, I am really, really not good at regex, like abysmally bad. But what I can do is I can talk to, in this case, GitHub Copilot, and I can say things like, find all the text before the first function definition, pass in a sample of the text, and then GitHub Copilot very kindly returned me a regex expression. Now, there's a lot of scrolling in this chat because I had to work with Copilot a lot to get the right regex expressions. But I think this is a case where LLMs are very helpful. They are very good at tasks like regex because regex is well defined and understood, and the GPT is pretty smart at interpreting when I send it into something useful. And you can see here's a couple iterations of me working through different regex patterns. Okay. I also wrote a pattern for extracting the method. In this case, it was a post request. And then also a method for trying to extract the body. Now, this was met with medium at best success because in my case here, oh, that's interesting. Even though it's a post expression, even though it's a post command, it wasn't able to find a body. Which probably tells me I need to massage my URL, like my regex expression some more. But okay, let's set that aside. Once I have these parameters in this case, a dictionary, what I wanted to do is one, export the code definition. And then if there were like some helper functions that were implemented at the head of the code, I wanted to add those. So in this context, I call this code prefix, which is stored in the function. And I guess I can just show that real quick. So if I have a Domo function has the actual code for how do I promote the repository. I guess I could pretty print this, huh? Okay. So it has the code for how do you promote to the repository. It also has prefix, just in case in the original code there were some setup functions. So in my case, or in this, I want to use the right words. In this library's case, some of the prefix stuff says require the library CodeEngine as the constant CE, declare a class called sandbox that has, wow, a sleeper. Interesting. As well as some functions validate Boolean, right? So this is a helper class that might get called in some of my functions, and so as I go through the documentation, I might want this at the head of my export. I think I have the original code. Is that how I called it? Yes. So just for reference, I do have the original code that spans all of the functions that were called in or created in this library, just in case I need it. Okay. So what are we trying to do here? We're trying to export the file. So I have some utility functions, like how do I add a multi-line comment to the top of my export? We have that. And then the actual export function itself is going to call a function that I newly minted called Domo function export, where I can choose the output folder. I'll add my multi-line parameters and then export or add in the key and, sorry, the parameters that we just talked through, the URL, the body, and the request method. Yeah, and so that's that. So, the moment you actually care about here, did this work as I expected? Yes, okay. So in my export folder, I now have a folder for each library. I have the current version of the code, or the code that I have the version that I exported, so in this case 2.0.5. I can expand it. Let's take a quick look at what is in Grant.js. Why is it called Grant? Ah, because you grant an award. Okay, so here are the comments, right? These are the prefix. So did I hit a URL? Yes, the method was post. The URL that we hit was /achievements, and the body needs to be achievement ID. Yeah. And let's see, how do you update beast modes? Ooh, that's fun. So to update a beast mode, you have to send a put request to the functions/template. I actually didn't know that. And then you can identify a beast mode by an ID. That's interesting. So I guess you have to be able to get beast modes by ID. But here you can see what can we see what the payload looks like? The payload is just the expression as a dictionary. So there you go. I guess my next step is to basically parse through all of these and like try to generate some sort of documentation off of it, or at least make sure that my library is calling it the same way. In the previous tutorial, we took a look at upload data. Was it append? Append to data set. Okay. So here it's not able to find the URL or the body, but here I can see like this was the helper code initially, and then here's the actual, what is this called? The JavaScript for the append to dataset function. All right, well, let's finish this up. Git add dot, git commit, dash message, updated. What did I update? The blog post, git push, and then this is all on the internet for you to enjoy. Ooh, let me not push Elliot's. What is track package? Oh, that's test package. I know how to read. Yeah, let's try that again. All right. Cool. All right, well, I'm end this. Bye.